What is the scariest thing happened to you when you've been home alone? The lights turned off all at once while I was in the kitchen. It was pitch black. I heard the door open. For some reason, instead of thinking power outage, my brain went to someone has cut the power and is coming to kill me. I grabbed the landline, the knife, and was crouched behind the kitchen counter, hearing steps come through the house, trying to breathe as quietly as possible. Then I hear my mom go, "Hello? Anyone home?" The power went out by chance at the exact moment she came in the door. That would have been an awkward hospital trip. My girlfriend and I both travel a lot for work, so it's not unusual for only one of us to be home on any given week. Last fall she was in San Francisco and I was home alone for a few days. We live in an apartment on the top floor of a building. Above us is a roof with a deck available to everyone. Middle of the night I get up to use the bathroom, and on the walk back to bed I look over to the study. There's a sliding door in the study leading to a balcony. I immediately stop dead in my tracks. I see the outline of a person standing on my balcony, facing me. I run over, hit the lights, grab a knife from the knife block and start dialing 911. The person is a kid, no more than 16. He sees me, I hit the lights, grab a knife and my phone, and he immediately grabs the railing on my balcony and flings himself over. I run over, assuming I just watched someone kill themselves, only to see him safe and sound on the balcony below me. He then hurdles off that balcony. He's jumping from floor to floor. He hits the parking lot in the back of our building safely and then sprints off. Cops finally come and break up a party on the roof. Turns out he was just a drunk friend of someone on the second floor and got dared to do it. Also, shout out to my dog for being asleep 15 feet from the balcony and not doing anything. Shout out to my dog for being asleep. I have cameras at the entrances to my house. About 10 years ago people broke into the house while we weren't home. When I reviewed the recordings, you see the back door get blasted open by a sledgehammer. Then you see my dog run up, tail wagging. The burglars started petting him. He brought them his favorite toy. Then they moved off camera. I then saw his favorite toy fly past the camera, and then off camera. Then I saw my dog run for it. He played fetch with them. The last thing they did before they left the house was struggle to close the door. While pushing my dog back in the house, he still wanted to play. He wasn't a guard dog though. He loved everybody. He was really awesome with my daughter, and that's what counts. I heard gunshots when I was home alone for the first time as a 12-year-old. Turns out my neighbor was a murderer. At least 12 cop cars and like 2 fire trucks showed up, and I thought it was the end of the world. I was in my basement where the computer was playing some game, probably RuneScape, and heard someone pull into the driveway, naturally assuming it was my mother who was coming home from work. I heard the screen door open, but when no one opened the lock on the actual door, I started to go upstairs and I saw a pair of legs go by the window. While the basement was underground, there was about a foot that popped up above ground level and had 2 windows. I go upstairs and see 2 dudes in my backyard looking at the windows and talking about the door was locked. It was an attempted home robbery. We had been broken into a few times at that point and had everything locked, but 10-year-old me was terrified. Edit, they just left, nothing happened. No home alone shit, I did not get killed, I am very much alive. Not super scary, but one time when I was like 11 I was home alone at night and got a call from the local sheriff's office who told me they just had a dropped 911 call from this number, my house landline, and asked if I was okay. I didn't call them. Nobody else was home to call them. I don't know, but it just creeped me out a lot. Wouldn't this be a technique of someone perhaps confirming if you an 11-year-old and was home alone? Scary in either scenario. Stop, this shit is getting too spooky. When I was home alone with my little sister, at the time I was probably 12 or 13 and my mom had just ran to the store for milk, these cops showed up at my door and asked if they could come inside to look around. I was a kid and confused, so I said okay. and they later told my mom that the house across the street was just broken into and the man had not been caught, and they were led to believe he was hiding out on a different property somewhere. So they thought this grown man was hiding in my garage or backyard while I was home alone with my sister. My mom never left the house without us again when we were kids. That's scary. When my son was a baby, I left him with his usual babysitter. It was 4th of July and she was standing at her sliding back door holding my son and watching fireworks. Suddenly a man burst through her front door, ran through the house and right past her out the back door and over the fence. Cops soon followed. She never left her front door unlocked again. I started choking on a clump of candy. Only survived because I tripped and fell on the couch in such a way that it dislodged the candy. I was nearly killed, then saved by being a klutz. This is exactly the way they teach you to dislodge food if you're alone. Slam dunk your stomach on the back of a chair or similar, couch arm/back in your scenario. Everyone should do classes on first aid. Someone tried to break into my neighbor's house while I was babysitting their kids. I was 15 and I used to babysit for my neighbors down the block. They had a really nice house, 3 floors with a built-in garage under the house that connected to the basement. It was the family's most used entrance of the house and they rarely locked the basement door as long as the garage was closed. They also had the type of security system where anytime a door opens you heard beep beep beep. After the parents left one night, I was putting the kids to bed and I heard the beep beep beep. I yelled out, thinking it was the parents coming back for something, but no one answered. The system on the wall kept reading basement door open. I was freaked out, so I called my dad and asked him to come by since he was only a few houses away. When he arrived, he told me to stay in the kitchen while he checked the house, but before he could, we heard the beep 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 again and then the garage door opened. When we ran to the window to see if the parents were pulling into the driveway, they weren't. Instead, someone in a hoodie was running out of the garage door and into the woods behind the house. My dad ended up calling the cops. I'm still creeped out by it. I was actually at a friend's house when her parents weren't home. We were maybe 10. It was her, my sister, her sisters and me. We decided to go swimming. There had been a rash of burglaries lately, but mostly garages being broke into. Anyway, we were in the pool when we noticed the kitchen light turn on. It was evening. We assumed her parents so looked in the window to do something stupid to get their attention when we realized we do not know the individual in the house. We hid behind the wall of the pool, above ground, terrified until her parents finally came home. It appeared as though he got spooked as he only ransacked the kitchen and left the garage door wide open when fleeing. It was spooky movie night at a friend's and we were 3 movies deep, just finished watching Dark Skies. I was hungry, so I was like, alright, getting my leftovers, so I went downstairs by myself. When I closed the fridge I caught movement out of the corner of my eye, and when I turned to see what it was, there was a ghostly white, skeletal thing just staring at me from outside the patio, with shimmering hazy lights pulsing behind it. I fucking freaked, dropped my food and run up the stairs nearly in tears, babbling about someone or thing in the backyard. Turns out it was just my own reflection mixed with the lights and steam from the hot tub outside, but I've never been so scared in my life. I was watching some sort of ghost TV show about demons or something in my basement, home alone, when I was probably 14 or 15. A fucking turkey walked up to the sliding door and started tapping on the glass. I noped the fuck out of that basement so fast. I don't think I ever watched that show again either. Early teen years. Power went out while I was taking a shower late at night. I got out of the shower already freaked out and looked outside through the window. My house was the only one without power. Stupid teenage brain, this is clearly an attempt on my life. Reality, house had a weird problem where the power would cut out if the water heater and air conditioner happened to turn on the same time. It had never happened to me before that, but my dad assured me that was the problem once he finally came home. My house came with an alarm that kept track of movement in every room. I set the alarm before bed, but I woke up in the middle of the night because it was alerting me that there was movement going back and forth between my guest bedroom, down the hall, and into my office. My alarm has a robotic speaking voice, so in the dark I'd hear it say, "Movement guest bedroom, movement second floor hallway, movement office," etc. I got up immediately and searched through my entire house. Couldn't find anything. I assume it was a glitch, and nothing to worry about, but I ended up turning that function off. What was scariest thing that happened when you were home alone? Leave a comment. And subscribe to this channel if you wanna see more same videos.